What if I told you that Johnny Depp, the man who has lived in the center of Hollywood for decades, the face of characters like Captain Jack Sparrow, Edward Scissorhands, and countless other unforgettable roles, is now living in Europe in a way that might completely shock you? You probably imagine him still in the middle of flashing lights, red carpets, exclusive parties, and a lifestyle full of endless attention. But the truth is the exact opposite. His reality today looks nothing like the life you've seen on movie posters or magazine covers. In fact, it is simpler, quieter, and far more human than you might believe. We often look at movie stars and assume they have everything. Fame, fortune, recognition. The whole package. But the hidden reality behind that glamorous curtain is very different. Fame can be a prison. It can suffocate you. And Johnny Depp knows this better than most. For years, he was the center of the storm. When you've been in blockbuster after blockbuster, when you've made the world laugh, cry, and cheer, you expect applause. But for Johnny, that applause turned into noise. It turned into gossip headlines, lawsuits, betrayals, and moments where his personal life became more of a spectacle than his acting. And at some point, he realized something very important: Hollywood wasn't home anymore. Think about that for a moment. Imagine being one of the biggest stars in the world, and still feeling like you don't belong in the very place that made you famous. Imagine the spotlight that once gave you joy now feels like it's burning through your skin. That's what Johnny faced. And instead of fighting harder, he chose to step away. He didn't just take a short break or a holiday. He crossed the ocean. He built a new life in Europe, far away from the chaos of Hollywood. Now picture this. Instead of a Beverly Hills mansion behind giant security gates, Johnny lives in old European estates, surrounded by stone walls, green hills, and the kind of silence you can't buy in Los Angeles. Instead of hearing paparazzi chasing him down the street, he wakes up to birds outside his window. Instead of standing on a red carpet where every move is photographed, he strolls through village markets where people treat him like just another neighbor. And the beauty of it all is that this isn't some fantasy. This is his reality now. Johnny Depp, the global star, is living like a local. And that, in itself, is shocking. But there's more. In Europe, Johnny found something he had lost. His art. And I don't just mean acting. He paints. Imagine Johnny Depp in his private studio, surrounded by canvases, splattered with colors, completely absorbed in his brushstrokes. He's not performing for anyone. He's not saying scripted lines. He's simply expressing himself. For him, painting isn't about fame. It's about freedom. And yes, he has shared his work with the world, and people by his art. But what matters more is that it allows him to tell stories without words, to let his emotions live on canvas instead of being trapped inside him. And then there's his music. Before Hollywood made him a star, Johnny was a musician. That part of him never really died. But Europe gave him the chance to bring it back to life. Now he spends hours with his guitar, jamming with friends, writing songs, and sometimes performing live. Not in massive stadiums filled with thousands, but in smaller, intimate spaces where the music feels raw and real. Picture yourself in a quiet European bar, and suddenly the man playing guitar at the front of the room is Johnny Depp. No big lights, no posters, no Hollywood glitz. Just a man sharing music because it's who he is. That's not the Johnny the tabloids show you. That's the Johnny who exists when the cameras are gone. So what does a regular day in his European life actually look like? It might surprise you. His mornings aren't filled with meetings, rehearsals, or premieres. Instead, you'll find him sitting in a cafe, sipping coffee, maybe scribbling on paper or sketching something in a notebook. You might see him walking through a market, choosing fresh bread, cheese, or vegetables. Imagine him standing in line at a bakery, waiting patiently like everyone else. Can you believe that? Johnny Depp, one of the most famous actors in the world, waiting his turn for a loaf of bread in a small European town. That picture alone changes the way you think about him, doesn't it? Afternoons might be spent in his art studio, surrounded by canvases and paints. Or maybe he's strumming his guitar, writing lyrics, or rehearsing for a small performance with friends. Evenings could be dinners with close family and trusted friends. Not Hollywood parties with flashing cameras, but laughter around a table, good food, and real connection. He lives with a rhythm now that isn't controlled by movie studios or gossip magazines. It's controlled by him. And that is the biggest shift of all. But here's the deeper truth. Europe isn't just where Johnny escaped. It's where he healed. After years of public battles, heartbreaks, betrayals, and exhaustion, he needed somewhere to rebuild. And Europe gave him that. The quiet, the distance, the slower pace, it allowed him to put the pieces back together. When your life has been torn apart by noise, sometimes silence is the only medicine. And Johnny found that medicine in Europe. He found it in art, in music, in family, in mornings at cafes, in markets filled with laughter instead of judgment. Now let's step back and ask, what can we learn from this? Johnny's story isn't just about fame. It's about being human. We all deal with chaos in different ways. Maybe not in front of the entire world, but in our own personal battles. Stressful jobs, unhealthy friendships, pressure to live up to expectations. And sometimes, like Johnny, the answer isn't to push harder. It's to step away. To find peace. To start over. He also reminds us of the power of creativity. For Johnny, painting and music aren't hobbies. They're lifelines. They're how he stays alive inside. And you don't have to sell your work or perform for others to do the same. Maybe for you it's writing in a journal, gardening, cooking, designing something, or just building something with your hands. Creativity is therapy. It's freedom. It's the way we keep our souls awake. And maybe the most important lesson, live simply. Johnny Depp has millions. He could buy any luxury he wants. But what gives him joy isn't a yacht or a diamond watch. It's a croissant from a bakery, a conversation at a cafe, a guitar in his hands, or a quiet evening with friends. That should tell us something. Happiness isn't about adding more. It's about removing the noise and focusing on what truly matters. So let me ask you this. If you had the chance to start fresh in Europe like Johnny Depp, what would you do first? Would you pick up a guitar? Would you paint? Would you write that book you've been putting off? Or would you simply enjoy the peace of silence and let yourself breathe again? Think about it, because sometimes that's the exact choice we need to make, even if it's not across the ocean. Sometimes it's just a matter of finding your own Europe, wherever you are. And if this glimpse into Johnny Depp's European life shocked you, then stick around. Because the truth about who he is today is far richer than the headlines you've read. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs the reminder that sometimes the bravest thing you can do is start over. And don't go anywhere. Check out my other video that dives even deeper into Johnny's hidden secrets and untold stories. It'll change the way you see him forever. Thank you for being here, my friends. And remember, sometimes the boldest, most rebellious choice isn't to fight louder. It's to live quieter, and to find peace in simplicity.